and welcome back to the program. You're watching Morning Thailand with Tulip and Golf. And of course, if you don't know it by now, it's quite cold here in Thailand.
Yes.
Especially in Bangkok, you can feel it right away. But at this point, it seems like the meteorological department has voiced concern already and warning a lot of people, especially those in the northeast as well as the northern regions, saying that the cold spell will actually be with us all the way until January of next year, meaning that if you actually would like to visit a cooler place than what we are facing right now in Bangkok, you can always go up to the northern part or the northeastern part of Thailand. But mind you, there's a lot of people up there who do not have a proper clothing or warm clothing to actually keep themselves warm. And that was one of the things that has been voiced concerns as well, that if you have any leftovers that you don't have to use it, then you can always donate as well. So that was one of the interesting comments that came out. Now, of course, having said that, the northern region, like I said, has been facing quite a bit of the weather problems, and there has been
weather condition.
Exactly, and there has been a warning already saying that at this point, if the people in the northeast or northeastern part of Thailand would actually stay outside, be very, very careful, because there has been a report, especially for seniors as well as children, saying that they are running a risk of catching all these diseases related to the cold weather, especially the respiratory disease as well as pneumonia. So do not stay outside for too long and make sure that you're properly dressed. They believe that in the north, the temperature is likely to drop for another 3 to 4 degrees Celsius. So be very careful. I'm pretty sure that a lot of you from the North America or from the country that do have winter, this is probably not as bad, but the shift of temperature might create quite a bit of a coldness that you can feel. Now they say that at this point, the lowest temperature that they were able to capture up north is around 9 to 12 degrees Celsius up in the hill. So they are saying be very careful, but a lot of tourists actually enjoy this particular time. They say that in the Phang district of Chiang Mai province, up on top of the mountain, and especially about 5 to 6 degrees Celsius early in the morning, and they see that you can see a lot of frost in the area as well. So a lot of people took pictures and such. On top of Intanon Mountain Hill, this is one of the most famous attraction. They say that at one point, especially up on the top, it could go as low as 0 degrees Celsius. And they say that about 3,000 tourists going up to the mountain each day. And in Mae Hong Son province, there has been a distributions of all the warm clothing as well as the blankets for all the villagers for in those people in the area, as well as in Phitsanulok province, because they have seen quite a bit of a drop of temperature. So Sisakhet province also facing the same situation, as well as Nan province. At this point, a lot of districts have already been seen or reported the 1-digit temperature already, and that's for Thailand is actually quite, I would say, a new thing because we never go too low. It's always like 20 degrees, and we're like, oh my goodness, it's so cold. But this time of year, it seems like it could go as low as, in the tens or teens period.
And it is very difficult for people in the rural area because it's not common for Thai house to have heaters.
Exactly. So, and the cold breeze doesn't help either, because obviously the houses normally made to attract more winds.
It will be open air mostly.
Exactly. So that's not helping. All right.
Get into the politics. So we reported before that during the, like yesterday, on the poll said one of the saddening news of the 2013 is when people got killed from the clashes between Ramkhamhang, between students and UDD. And the rector already came out and said not all of them Ramkhamhang University students, but some of them were. So yesterday it was a news report that because of there was one person got killed, got shot, and died at a hospital. He was a private Thanasit Viengkham that actually was joining the red shirt gathering in Ramkhamhang area, but he was shot. So the police able to find the witness. They found that the gunshot came from one of the building in Ramkhamhang 24 and from the Jinda Mansion 2. So finally the police able to find a witness, Mr. Kem Jansuk, that said that there were two guys, which is Thirapat Thongrit, 20 years old, and Noppadon Kaeomijin, 20 years old, came into his room and asking to use his patio somehow to do some kind of activities, and he saw these two guys shot several shots into the red shirt's crown, and he actually sees someone fall down from the shot, and then these two guys just left the room. So finally the police able to arrest these two suspects. They actually right now is in jail for 12 days for pending trial, because the police they're not gonna get bail because the police believe that they probably just gonna flee. So these two are actually university students from the south, one from Trang province and one from Nakhon Si Thammarat province, and the gun is .38 and belong to one of the guys. And the shooter Thirapat actually said that they got a gun and they saw these red shirt people walking around, and they had some kind of argument before, so they just decided to shoot into the crowd about 6-7 shots, and it resulted in one death.
All right. Well, that's one of the, I think, like you reported yesterday, the saddest news for 2013 at least, and obviously hopefully there will be some shed of light into this particular incident.
There is never good enough reason to just kill someone.
No, haters is not something that you actually want, especially for the people in your own countries.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen people fighting with the other countries, but for people in the same country to fight each other, that's just not good news. All right, moving on to another incident that has been taken place is the fact that a lot of sectors has been, of course, voicing concerns in terms of the political deadlock that we are facing right now. Apart from the fact that there's a lot of big demonstrations, there was one, at least from private sector, the 7 organizations that got together. They has been voicing their concerns for quite some times now, and yesterday they has made a press announcement talking about at least be able to mediate the talks, as well as propose several measures that they hope can be used. Now they say that from the previous talk that they have, open forums, gathering different information, Kun Isara Wong Kusongkit, the chairman of the Thai Chamber of Commerce, as well as one of the representatives from the 7 organizations from private sector, has actually made a press announcement yesterday at the Queen Surigit National Park. At the Queen Surigit National Center at about noon, 12 p.m. And Kun Isara said that from the gathering of the informations as well as feedbacks from different sectors that they have done, there are 3 measures that actually came out, and they believe that this will help mediate the situation and at least moving forward, let the country moving forward. The first one is that there should be an organization, or at least a body that would be able to create some type of reforms prior to the election. And this particular body would have to be approved by all parties, meaning that all the political party as well and all the interested party. However, this particular body should also be approved or acknowledged by the legal means as well. And the second measures that they are proposing is that this particular body should actually be free from any political influence. The third measures is that for this particular party, the body, to actually be only act as a reform council or a body that would only carry out the reform prior to the election and no more. So meaning that not going to be involved in terms of trying to control the country or run the country itself, but it would just mainly for the reformation of the Thai political system. Now they say that in this particular case, they would like to make sure that all the parties accepted or mutually accepted this and make sure that the upcoming election after the reform would actually be the free and fair one and there would not be any vote buyings. Now they say that they also Kun Isara press further on the importance of actually having a reform before the election. So I believe that this is pretty much go in line with what the PDRC has said. Different means though, because the 7 organizations of the private sector, this particular case, they actually proposing something more on the line that there would not be any more demonstrations to put the country in the halt. However, actually moving forward together. And at this point, they say that the reform will not take a short period of time. They know that it would take like 5-10 years or even longer, but they say that there should be a starting point somewhere. And that was one of their standpoint that they say yesterday is that reform before the election. And there should be a body that not influenced by political parties at all. So we're going to have to wait and see whether or not that's going to be able to be implemented, in Thai politics.
Someone that not get influenced by any side at all will be quite difficult to find.
Exactly.
So talking about politics, there is another turn yesterday. One of the Democrat MPs that resigned that actually led the crown during this PDRC protest, Chittapat Piromphakdi. She has been quite a target, I would say, because her house actually was attacked. They still can't find a suspect, but the CCTV camera shows that there were motorcycle drove by and throw a firebomb into the house, and one of the car got caught in fire. Good thing no one injured. And that she gave interview to the foreign media, which some of the newspapers circling around in Thai language said that she said something that actually insult rural people about their misunderstanding of the democracy and such, which she already came out and denied that she didn't say such thing. And there is currently a lot of Facebook page and Twitter account that's not actually hers, but somebody else post something in her behalf. So yesterday she also came out in her own official Twitter and fan page just to say that which one is actually the real one. So if you want to check out her Twitter account, it's @TANTCHITPAS, and there will be a link to her fan page on there, but most of the time she'll post in Thai. She said that right now there's a lot of fake Twitter and Facebook accounts that have edited the message and said that it's her, but she said it's actually by somebody else that just want to destroy her. And this is twists of the truth. And she would like to say that she have never insulted people in the rural, and she have came out to join the people because they share the same ideology, and she hoped that there will be good things come out of this. So finally, after there was a letter out in the public by one of the Bunrod Brewery executive Santi Pirom-Pakdi, which is the big boss of the Singha Corporation, has came out and somehow give the warning. He's the managing director of Bunrod Brewery, give the warning of Jitapat, but not directly to Jitapat, but it's the letter to Jitana, which is the father of Jitapat, and give the warning and just ask them to reconsider their role in politics and such. Didn't really say don't go or don't say anything,
right,
but more like reconsider the role because it's affect the last name Pirom-Pakdi.
Right.
So finally yesterday, the father of Jitapat, Pirom-Pakdi, has sent out official letter to the media and said, as the father, he has talked to his daughter so many times about how she expressed her political opinions. And of course, there's some differences between them, but his daughter insists that she would like to continue her works in politics. So his family resolved to change the last name. So they would like to notify that to the media. In some media would say the whole family, mother, father, and Jitapat will change the last name. But actually in the letter, they didn't really specify who would change the last name, and they didn't actually say what last name she will be using. But a lot of people suspect it probably will be her mom last name, which is also come from a very big family, a long history from the royal descendant, Grisadakon, or maybe from her grandma on her dad's side. Also big family as well, Rattakun family. So we're gonna wait to see. Jitapat hasn't really make any statement about the last name, but she just say that a lot of message that has been circling around is not true. This is also related to the incident yesterday when Red Shirt led by Kwanchai Phaiphana in Khon Kaen province went to one of the Bunrod Brewery plant, Khon Kaen Brewery, and just to show their opposition, and he said he's going to boycott all the products under Singha network because they are so not happy with how she talked about the rural people. Even though the executive tried to say that the daughter of the executive of the company showing any political opinions, there is no ban from the company to say anything, but it's not really related to the company. But I guess a lot of people just, when her last name is Pirom-Pakdi, it's kind of difficult to separate the matters from each other.
So I think it's become a family matter at this point. And I think this is Thai politics, that we have seen of late, that anything that if you mention politics here in Thailand, the chances are you might ended up in an argument with someone else because not everyone actually believes the same thing. All right, with that, we're going to take a short break because when we come back, a lot more about the situation yesterday, because yesterday was the first day for the registration of all the candidates, and it was quite a bit of a commotion, of course, so please stay tuned.